Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are watching us. Sawana de Milan. This is Tino here, born Namanes Tino Seba. I'm going to do a short presentation with regard to navigation change, personal and organizational insights. This is in fulfillment of my qualification at GIBS. So I'm going to give you my personal experience with regard to change, that is regard to my education, transitioning in my education phases, family dynamics, including my relocation, and also my career dynamics, more especially. I was born as a third child in a family of 10, with a father and my mother. My father's working experience that I know of, he was a teacher in a rural village. And so I grew up until I was 17 in a rural village, which is when I finished my Form 4. So growing up in a family of 10 years, its own dynamics, which shaped my perception of life. And one of the lessons that I learned from my dad was, growing up he would tell us, this would have been a dull and monotonous world if all people would reason and think alike. So learn to embrace your differences and celebrate your similarities. And that stuck with me growing up, that each time when I would mingle with people, even at school, I would always celebrate the differences in opinion and the difference and variations in opinion that we had growing up. That was something worth for, and I learned that from my dad growing up. So I moved from Form 4, which was it's almost equivalent of grade 11, and now I moved to start my Form 5 in a totally different environment. It's an urban setup. I'm doing 2 years, Form 5 and Form 6 in a totally different environment. This was a different environment in terms of the socio-economic dynamics. People from different socio-economic backgrounds, more privileged than where I was coming from. But the rural village, it taught me something, which is resilience. But then the transitioning had to teach me adaptability. Great lessons which I learned in terms of those transitionings. And I also, now when I moved from Form 5, I moved to varsity. You know, the issues when you meet people from different environment, it's an academic environment, varsity, totally different. Different leaders, different motivations, a lot of things to learn from each other. And I learned a lot in terms of relocation, because that's what a different city already. I moved from when I was 19, now I moved to a different city, independent altogether. I cherish those lessons. When I started my career, for the past 20 years, I've worked for almost 7 companies. Yes, 7 companies in more than just over 20 years. And I've been involved because I qualified as a computer scientist, or as a degree in computer science. Started cutting my teeth as a junior programmer or as a programmer, then you're a developer. Now the roles transition and change. So I cherish, and I will just take insights to one instance of my manager who managed us when I started our career. Very rugged leader, but authentic, honesty, and sincere, who would take pride in the quality of work that you should do. And he taught me valuable lessons in taking pride in quality delivery. So from there on, I have been involved in plan and build phases of project. So I would do plan, build, and deploy the project. After deployment, usually I wouldn't stay much for the maintenance. But in terms of that, I learned a lot in terms of the technologies, opportunities that would come, embracing new technologies. It's a fast-changing environment that I work in. And also in terms of working with teams, a lot of emotional intelligence. I can give insight to one leadership in terms of communication and stakeholder agreement. I remember there was a time this company wanted to introduce a uniform policy where they wanted employees to start wearing uniforms to work on a daily basis. And my team, we didn't see any value in doing that, since we were IT people and not facing any clients outside. And we thought that should be the marketing and sales people, not IT people. But our manager engaged us and convinced us that it is important, yes, equally important to represent the company. And there I saw the role of leadership in guiding and inspiring us through those changes. And also, I can mention now a recent example in the company that I'm working for. There's a change of obviously dynamics that is necessitated that the leadership has to be communicating to us on a daily basis. So there's need to say when you are changing, the people involved, you have to be also be involved. Now I'm talking to you from South Africa. I migrated from Zimbabwe at the height of the hyperinflationary environment in Zimbabwe in 2008. But when I relocated, that's the year that I got married. Different dynamics and involving engaging stakeholders, I learned quite a lot. I use the same in terms of my management, in terms of organizational size and team management, to engage everyone who is going to be affected by any transitioning. So when I relocated, dynamics of family changed, but because of the lessons of adaptability and resilience which I learned at a young age, I can tell you of a thing, that in all the 7 companies that I've worked for, I have never met a person or even manager that I've had difficulties working with, or that I say I couldn't work with. I'm so grateful for all these people, because they add a different value and a different perspective of life. And I can talk about flexibility and also continuous learning, which is the reason why I am here at GIBS. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. I'm grateful.